Welcome to the Illinois Tobacco Quitline Tobacco Cessation Worksite Forum webinar. Your presenter today will be Lori Jonker. As a reminder, at the bottom of your screen are multiple application widgets you can use. All of the boxes are resizable and movable, so feel free to move them around to get the most out of your desktop space. You can expand your slide area or maximize it to full screen by clicking on the arrows in the top right corner. The webcast is being streamed through your computer, so there is no dial-in number. For the best audio quality, please make sure your computer speakers or headset are turned on and the volume is up so you can hear the presenter. If you have any questions during the webcast, you can submit them through the Q&A box. Any questions that can't be answered today will be addressed at a later date. If you have any technical difficulties during the webinar, please let us know via the Q&A box. This webcast is being recorded and will be available tomorrow and can be accessed using the same link that you used to register. And now we'll begin the webcast. I'll turn it over to Lori Jonker.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Lori Jonker. I'm the Program Director and the Region's Liaison for the Illinois Tobacco Quitline, and we're so pleased to be able to introduce our Tobacco Cessation Worksite initiative through today's forum. I would like to just take a brief moment to introduce our director, Linda Fellows.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I just want to welcome you on behalf of the Illinois Tobacco Quitline and the Illinois Department of Public Health. Thank you for attending.
So we have a great program planned for all of you today. And please know we're going to ask that we keep the questions till the end, and you'll have the opportunity to post the questions. We will get to all of them as best we can. If for any reason we can't, we will be creating a Q&A document to send out to everyone. And as stated previously, we are also recording today's webinar, and it will be posted on quityes.org, either for those who were unable to participate or for you to be able to listen to it once again. And pleased to have our presenters today. We are going to have Matthew Galt and Shambria McBrayer, who are with our team with the Illinois Tobacco Quitline. They are part of our outreach team and ultimately will be the individuals that all of you will be working with should you choose to utilize our corporate program. And then we're also very pleased to have two special guests with us, our panelists, Nancy Stobie, who is the Benefits and Wellness Specialist with Fairway Independent Mortgage, and Jill Miklo, who is the Wellness Manager with Assurance Agency. And they're going to be sharing some testimonials regarding utilization of our program and hopefully be able to address any questions that you have. At this time, we'd like to go ahead and begin and just want to kind of remind you all of our purpose for today's program. And so we want to take an opportunity to showcase the Illinois Tobacco Quitline and remind you of a corporate worksite program that we now have available for employee groups. We want to be able to kind of walk through the step-by-step process and what it will take to sign up for the program. We want to make it as easy and smooth as possible. We also are going to remind you of the key benefits of being able to utilize a program like the Illinois Tobacco Quitline service. We're going to take the opportunity to showcase two of our American Lung Association worksite partners who will be sharing their experience. And then we're going to kind of remind you of what options exist and how to get started. So I will turn it over now to Shambria.
Good afternoon. First, we're going to discuss the employer benefits of the program and what partners can gain by joining the Tobacco Cessation Worksite program. First, we'd like to just set the stage and discuss the health effects of tobacco use and how tobacco use negatively impacts the health of your employees. Smokers are 13 to 23 times more likely to develop lung cancer. Smoking is directly responsible for 90% of lung cancer deaths. Smokers are also 2 to 4 times more likely to develop heart disease. Smoking is responsible for 80% of deaths caused by chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, emphysema, and bronchitis. Nearly 500,000 people die annually from tobacco-related illnesses. That's more deaths from tobacco use than alcohol use, HIV, illegal drug use, motor vehicle injuries, suicides, and murders combined. So you can really see the negative, how tobacco use really negatively impacts the health of tobacco users. In addition to individuals that are smoking, individuals that are passively inhaling secondhand smoke are also negatively impacted. Deaths among non-smokers each year, 34,000 heart disease deaths and 7,300 lung cancer deaths. Smoking is harmful, and with the stats and the numbers, you can see just how harmful tobacco use is to your employees. As an employer, you can assist your employees with tobacco cessation. Tobacco use negatively impacts economic costs and healthcare expenditures. Smoking-related illnesses in the U.S. cost up to $300 billion a year, including over $175 billion in direct medical costs and $151 billion in lost productivity, which are smoking attributable economic costs. In addition to that, there are also smoking attributable healthcare expenditures, which totaled up to $175 billion. That's $94.2 billion for current smokers and $81.7 billion for former smokers. So you really can see with the numbers how smoking really negatively impacts economics and healthcare expenditures. Employers can save nearly $6,000 per year for every employee who quits. Helping smokers quit not only saves lives, it also saves money. These savings come from lower healthcare costs, increased work productivity, and preventing premature deaths. The Affordable Care Act requires employers and health insurance plans to cover preventative services at no cost to insurance plan members. Tobacco cessation is considered a preventative service required under this law that employers are required to provide. The Illinois Tobacco Quitline corporate worksite program falls under what is considered a reasonable alternative, and that reasonable alternative has to be provided so employees don't receive any additional surcharges or fees via their insurance because of different health behaviors. The Illinois Tobacco Quitline recommends going beyond the ACA reasonable alternative requirements and offering a program that gives tobacco users the best chance to become tobacco-free. Some of the benefits that we recommend that you include within your programs are to cover all treatments recommended in the U.S. Public Health Service Guideline. That includes all 7 medication formularies and medications that are on the preferred drug list. Cover each medication for its FDA, Federal Food and Drug Administration, approved duration of use. Eliminate or reduce copays and other cost sharing on medications and counseling. Do not require prior authorization of treatment because that slows down and can decrease a smoker's motivation and momentum to quit. Do not limit the number of times a person can try to quit in their lifetime. We want to remember that quitting is a process that usually takes many attempts. Do not require stepped care, which can force an employee to use a treatment that they've already tried before and that they know that may not work for them. And do not require employees to attend counseling to obtain medication. Counseling is great, and we encourage employees to attend counseling, but requiring it may discourage some people from seeking any assistance with quitting. Next, we're going to discuss what the Illinois Tobacco Quitline offers, our services, our resources, and some successes of Quitlines. Benefits of a tobacco quitline. Tobacco quitlines reduce barriers to tobacco cessation. They provide counseling from certified tobacco treatment specialists and nicotine replacement therapy, NRT, which we'll discuss a little bit later. Tobacco quitlines are flexible to employee schedules. Counselors are available for a number of hours a week. For the Illinois Tobacco Quitline, we're available for over 100 hours a week to provide tobacco cessation counseling to callers. And when we're not available, your employee has the ability to leave a voicemail and we'll respond to them within 24 hours. Tobacco Quitlines also provide various cessation options, as I previously mentioned. We have NRT options, nicotine replacement therapy options, and we also provide counseling. And it's used by employers of all sizes to reduce absenteeism, increase productivity, and manage ever-increasing health care costs. The referral program is an active way to really engage your employees. In addition, we also offer a treatment service that is appealing to a broad number of employees regardless of race, ethnicity, geographic location, education level. Diversity for us, it really matters. We pride ourselves on ensuring that our services are appealing and useful to a broad number of people within different groups, populations, genders, and ethnicities. Some successes of using a tobacco quitline studies show that 3 to 5% of people can quit tobacco without any form of assistance. So we call that cold turkey. So 3 to 5% of people can quit tobacco cold turkey, and that is great, and we applaud that. But for those that are not able to do that, there are resources and services that are available to them. Quitlines alone double a person's chances of quitting smoking. Quitlines plus NRTs, nicotine replacement therapy, that triples a person's chances of quitting smoking. In addition to that, Quitlines have unmatched flexibility. As I mentioned previously, and within our hours for the Illinois Tobacco Quitline, we're available for over 100 hours a week, Monday through Sunday. Our corporate worksite program was developed by following the model of the American Lung Association program. And over the past 3 years, when conducting 7-month follow-ups, when we're following up with our callers, we've assessed that 45.6% of those callers are tobacco-free at 7 months. So we have a high rate of individuals that are not using tobacco at that 7-month mark. So that's a really good success. Our hours of operations and other ways in which you can get in contact with the Illinois Tobacco Quitline. So the Illinois Tobacco Quitline is a partnership between the Illinois Department of Public Health and the American Lung Association that was established in 2001. The Illinois Tobacco Quitline phone line is 1-866-QUIT-YES, and you can see the number here displayed on your screen. Our operating times are 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday, 9 to 5 p.m. Employees have 8 consecutive scheduled calls, proactive calls with counselors. However, we do encourage employees to call outside of those scheduled counseling sessions. And during the times that we're available, employees are able to do that. And we encourage that. And like I said before, if we're not available during that time, they can leave us a voice message and we'll get back to them within the next 24 hours. We also have a live chat available for employees that have no interest in chatting over the phone. Maybe they feel like a live chat, they're more comfortable with that. They will have their 8 consecutive calls, but if they feel more comfortable with chatting online with a counselor outside of those 8 consecutive calls, they're more than welcome to do that as well. And they can visit our website, quityes.org, to access that online chat. We also have different languages available. We have Spanish-speaking staff on site, and we have an interpretation service that interprets 250 plus languages. We also have a telecommunication line for individuals that are deaf or hard of hearing, and the number is displayed on your screen. As I previously mentioned, our goal is to always make sure our services are appealing and useful to all audiences. We have access options that will allow everyone to receive our services and to access our services. A little bit about our counselors. Most of our Illinois Tobacco Quitline counselors are healthcare providers. They're registered nurses, respiratory therapists, pharmacists. However, all of them are certified tobacco treatment specialists. They receive a 3 to 5 day training at either the Mayo Clinic or Florida State University, where they receive the CTTS certification. The training is either in person, online, or both, and it lasts anywhere from 32 to 42 hours, and it meets the 24-hour national standard that's been set. Our counselors use FDA-approved strategies, CDC-approved strategies, and North American Quitline Consortium's NAC-approved strategies and evidence-based practices. Our counselors have over 300 years of training experience combined, so we feel like, and we know that they're very capable and able to assist your employees in all cessation. So as a partner and as an employer, if you're interested in the program, how do you get started? Here are some options for you. The first step in enrolling in the program is to express interest to an outreach team member. After interest is expressed, you'll meet with an ITQL outreach team member via phone, email, or face-to-face. And prior to that meeting, you would have received what we call our recruitment packet. And within that packet, there are documents and things that you will review and you'll discuss during your meeting with the outreach team member. After your meeting is complete and you've reviewed all of the documents and you've decided to move forward with the program, a personalized tobacco treatment enrollment form is created, which we'll discuss more in the following slides. And you'll decide if you're going to provide nicotine replacement therapy, which does come at some additional cost. So those are the fees that you'll discuss with the outreach team member. And you'll also discuss the benefit tracking form, which we'll discuss in the coming slides, so we won't discuss it in depth here. After you've made all those decisions about exactly what you want to provide and you receive your tobacco treatment enrollment form, which is personalized, you will begin to enroll your employees into the program, and you'll do that by filling out the information within the tobacco treatment enrollment form, their information, having them sign it, and then submitting that form to us. After that, you'll set a start date, and you'll allow 3 weeks to set up and have everything in place to begin. You'll order promotional materials, which you can receive from us, and you'll conduct an in-service with your HR team members and your wellness managers to make sure you've onboarded all staff and that everyone is on the same page and they know what types of resources and services are available with the program. This is like our first step in, one of our first steps in becoming a partner. This is the registration form. After you meet with the outreach team member and you agree to offer the programs to your employees, you will complete this registration form. It is fillable and it's asking for your basic, your company information. And you'll complete that and send that in to us at info@quityes.org or fax that in to us at the number displayed on your screen. And after that form is received, we'll create your customized tobacco treatment enrollment form with your Worksite's logo and your tracking ID that's specific to your company. You'll have options available for you to choose, and these options are included within our purchase order. And you have options for the program if you want to only do the 8 consecutive calls with your employees. That is an option, the scheduled calls. But you can also provide them with NRT product, and that is included within the purchase order. We offer patches, lozenge, and gum. Within this purchase order, you also will determine how many memberships you would like. A minimum of 10 is required. However, that is negotiable, so that is something that we can discuss. But in addition to that, this purchase order also acknowledges or helps to outline the parameters of the agreement and what each partner is responsible for and what the Illinois Tobacco Quitline is responsible for. So we encourage you to review it in full because it addresses many things like payments, the complete agreement, intellectual property, and those other things that are within a contract. In addition to that, we also have the benefit tracking form. And this is a really good tool that counselors will use to determine and to provide guidance to them about the benefit of that the employee will receive. Key information will be captured utilizing the form. We'll determine if you have a timeline for when the employee needs to sign up for the program. We'll determine with that benefit tracking form if your employee is going to receive incentives for completing the program with a premium decrease, or if they do not complete the program, will they receive a surcharge fee We'll also determine with this form if the business insurance covers NRT, nicotine replacement therapy, and other prescription medications. The counselors will also remind the employee the process to take advantage of receiving the product. So with us knowing that, we can remind them of the advantages of utilizing the NRT product. Within this form, there's also contact information shared. So if we have any questions that may arise, we know who to contact and how to contact that person. So phone numbers will be included. Overall, this document is just a really good way to help us, the Illinois Tobacco Quitline, and our counselors with their conversation regarding the employee benefits and what the employee will receive. Here's a little bit about our fees and membership options. Our counseling services are $150 per person, and that includes 8 consecutive proactive calls weekly, scheduled calls. And we call those proactive calls is because our counselors are reaching out to your employee. They're making that the call to them to offer that counseling to them. We also conduct 7-month follow-up to determine where they're at in terms of their cessation at that 7-month mark. We offer them a completion certificate to congratulate them for completing the program. We also offer you as the employer, and the partner monthly utilization reports. We never limit the number of calls, and we never rush a call, and the treatment plan is customized per person based on their needs. There are also NRT options, and those are optional, but they are available. Nicotine patches, gum, and lozenges, which come at additional fees, but they are at a reduced rate. Each membership lasts for about a year. The employer and the partner has the ability to start low and grow, a minimum of 10, but the 10 is negotiable. And after you already began the program, you have the option to add membership. We have different invoicing options available. Our outreach team will also maintain communication with the partner and be in contact with them to monitor utilization and the success of the program with the Worksite. And so if you need to add more memberships, that is an option that is available to you. Next, I'm going to turn it over to Matthew Galt, my colleague and a member of the outreach team, to discuss promotional services and how to get started.
Thank you, Shambria. Yes, my name is Matthew. I'm on the outreach team. I'm also one of the counselors. I have frequently talked with people trying to quit smoking. And I just want to talk to you exactly why we need to talk about marketing. So you've come up to this point, you're a partner, you've chosen your options, you've purchased memberships, maybe you've purchased NRT, but you got to tell people what you're doing. If you don't tell your employees, nobody's going to know what you're doing. So the best way to do that is to start early. Hand out some business cards. We offer business card bundles. These are basically have our information, whether it's our website, you've got our phone number, you've got some conversation starters. We also offer rack cards. These are typically found in human resources in information areas about services provided in your area. Very easy, very simple items to hand out to everybody. We also offer tear-off pads. These tear-off pads are just small little Post-it note sizes that you tear off, hand to people as a quick reference, but also have posters that you can print and display around different areas that you may need to have common areas for your employees, let's say kitchen areas or break rooms. These are great references that you can hang up and display everywhere. And these all have motivational tools on there to let people know that they are not alone in their effort to quit smoking. So now we want to talk about signing up your employees. So basically, you have the enrollment form. It's a little hard to see. We apologize for that. We can send out examples of all of this later. Basically, we take this enrollment form and we brand it to your company with your logo and the tracking number that Shambria mentioned. Every employee can send this in, fax it to that number, or if you have an electronic database for your human resources, we can possibly have things electronically submitted. And that's kind of nice to have too. Once the form is completed, we ask that you have preferred times for contact for every employee. The preferred time might be 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. or it might be 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Whatever happens, we want to include shift workers on this. So as a former shift worker in the hospital, I understand the need to have hours that are convenient to my schedule. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it. And that's what we want to offer everybody. We do ask that you allow 3 weeks prior to the start date for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, this gives you time to let your employees know what options that you have in mind, whether you're going to provide nicotine replacement therapy or whether you're going to require various numbers of calls or whether you're going to basically not penalize them for not joining, but if changes your insurance rates is a common reason, healthier lifestyles, obviously. 3 weeks prior to the start of this program lets us in service your human resources or your wellness teams, and it lets you get the word out to all of your employees what options you've chosen, why you're doing this, sending out the informational packets, and of course telling your employees what to expect. And that's a really big part of what we're going to be talking about briefly here. The call process, and again, this might be a little hard to see, but it basically tells us from start to finish what your employees can expect. You as the employer communicates the program to your employees, and they submit those forms, the enrollment forms, to us here at the Quitline. We call the employee within 24 hours of that enrollment form being received at the preferred time. We also ask that they have multiple contact information, a secondary phone number, an email address, just in case something happens with their primary line. And that's something that we want to stress very importantly, that we have multiple ways to contact every person. The Illinois Tobacco Quitline will gather demographic information, health history, tobacco history. We use all of this to try to guide us in our counseling sessions with every one of your employees. We establish a call schedule with the employees for a designated number of weekly sessions. Generally speaking, this is 8 sessions. And we always like to try to get the preferred time so that when we call, we know the best chance of reaching each one of your employees. Once the designated number of sessions is completed, we send out the certificate of completion to the employee that Shambria mentioned, and at that time we'll also send a report to you, to Human Resources, saying this employee has completed the process, and we are congratulating them on running through the program. The initial call is sometimes kind of confusing to an initial enrollment, simply because it takes a little bit longer to go through than what you might think. It takes about 20 minutes to half an hour. During this period, we enter all of the employees' information into our system. What we try to do is within 24 hours of receiving the form, we try to contact them again. 3 attempts are made based on their preferred time. The employee's membership is used even if they do not respond. So whenever they fill out that form and send it in, that is a membership. Even if they give us the wrong phone number, 2 wrong phone numbers, 2 wrong phone numbers and an email, it doesn't make much difference. If we can't get a hold of them, we can't get a hold of them. So we stress this very, very much. Please have good, accurate information and multiple ways to contact because it counts. The initial phone call does take about 20 minutes to half an hour to get through. And we cover basic employee information. So this can include an employee ID number, if that's something that you would like to track. Some employers like that, some employers don't. We do collect basic health information and health history, which allows us to better guide your employees through the counseling process. Health information is not reported back to you. It is only for our reference. So this is self-reported health information. So one example would be high blood pressure, a very common ailment among a lot of people nowadays. If we have a person that, for instance, smacks 1 pack of a tobacco product a day and they have high blood pressure, we would counsel them that quitting tobacco will start the process of lowering their blood pressure or at least making it easier to control. Other information that we collect during this time are the demographics of the person, What do they identify as a gender? What's their sexual orientation, their marital status, educational level, and things of that information. This is collected for statistical reasons, and some employers prefer not to have us ask those questions, and that's just fine. We do ask what their health insurance status is, which leads us to help them find the best option at their disposal. If you're opting for nicotine replacement therapy, this can be above and beyond their insurance. If you are not opting for nicotine replacement therapy, we can help walk them through the process of getting something that is appropriate. Some other basic information. Have they ever tried to quit before? Shambria mentioned cold turkey. A lot of people have tried to quit cold turkey. It's not just a thing that happens after Thanksgiving, although I know it is for me. But we really need to know, have they tried to quit before? Were they ever successful with quitting? How confident are they that they can quit? If we have a caller that says, I don't think I can quit, I don't intend to quit, that tells us their mindset right away and tells us that we need to try to work with them and say, yes, you can, and we're here to help. The nicotine dependence assessment, well, that's pretty obvious what it is. Are you currently using tobacco? How much and how long? What type of product do you use? And there's a lot of different options out there, whether it's cigars, cigarillos, cigarettes themselves, whether it's the snuff and different things like that, dip and chew. We try to figure out exactly what it is your employees are using, and it tells us a lot about their mindset, and it tells us how difficult of a process this may be for them. If they smoke a cigarette within 5 minutes of waking up, chances are they may have a little bit more of trouble quitting than somebody who waits for 2 or 3 hours to have their first tobacco product. And that's just a simple example. We use that information to determine how difficult this will be and ideally which level of intervention they may require to help them quit. We tailor the plan to every person. These are very, very individualized plans. So if you look on the slide, there's a lot of information that we try to cover, and there's a lot of information at the initial call, and this is all very good information, but we always revisit every one of these in every single phone call. So we don't just say, you got to do this, and we never address it again. We always reaffirm everything. So what we want to know is, what is your story for quitting tobacco? Every person has a different story, a different reason. What we try to do is use the same counselor for each caller so that they can develop a rapport and help tailor a plan to each employee. We cover topics like lifestyle changes and coping strategies to make the process easier. If you are a cup of coffee and a tobacco product kind of a person, we suggest shaking up the routine, things like that, to try to help make it easier to quit one of the two cravings. We provide information on the physical addiction to tobacco and how NRT is successful with getting that addiction minimized as you can wean off of the nicotine. Information like behavioral patterns that can lead to nicotine addiction, like stress, triggers that can make people return to tobacco. Unfortunately, in a lot of life events, people get stressed out and they run right back to the easiest outlet they can have, which is tobacco. This is a very common complaint. Something happened in my life, so I started smoking again. I've heard it constantly. Well, and we try to teach people how to deal with those life events. A very common complaint is weight gain. A lot of people who want to quit smoking or using other tobacco products complain that they gain weight. We try to give everybody useful tips on how to avoid that issue. Healthy alternatives. We're all about healthy alternatives. We try to prepare every caller to quit for good and to enjoy the new self-image that they have. At every time, every conversation, every person is invited to ask questions, no matter how many times we may have already covered that particular topic. Every single phone call, we can answer the same questions because it's still important to that caller, and that is exactly what we're here for. After the initial call, we will send out information with a packet of information, whether it's email or through regular mail. This is at no cost. That packet of information has a lot of very simple strategies and recommendations on how to quit using tobacco. The employee will receive, if you opt for nicotine replacement therapy, they'll receive that within a few days after the enrollment. Unfortunately, that can be hampered by the weather. This is Illinois after all. There's some things that we simply can't help. If we get a foot of snow, then we get a foot of snow that may delay it by a day or so. The employee will be contacted by the Quitline for 8 weeks. Again, we try 3 tries until it falls onto the employee to call us back. But it's 8 consecutive phone calls for 8 weeks. Then they get the certificate of completion, which we send by email or regular mail. And after that, we call them back in 7 months to see if they were continued successfully off of tobacco. Utilization reports. We are able to send you reports monthly. That includes information on how many people have signed up, what stage are they in the process, have they quit, have they abandoned the program, what is going on. And that's just a really useful thing for you to have so that you can potentially reach out to your employees in a mass email saying, if you signed up for this program, you're doing fantastic, please continue. We're supporting you on this, and just making sure that your employees know that you have their back on this. And obviously, this is a completion certificate, an example of a completion certificate. I wasn't allowed to put Mickey Mouse as the employee name. However, this is what it looks like when we send it out to each of your employees. Now we'd like to, I believe, Lori, are you going to introduce Nancy?
Yes, thank you, Matthew and Shambria. We appreciate it. Next, we're going to have one of the American Lung Association corporate worksite partners that we've been working with, Nancy Stobie. Nancy, we look forward to having you share your experience and how the program has worked for you.
Great. Thank you for having me today. As she had shared, I am the Wellness Program Specialist here at Fairway. I've been at Fairway for about 5 years. We currently have about 6,500 employees. Actually, I think we're closer to 6,700 right now. We are growing rapidly. And what prompted us to do some research and find the program is we went to self-funded insurance in 2015. And then in addition to that, what we did is we rolled out a corporate wellness program. So one of the things we looked at were ways to get our population of employees healthier. And we came upon the tobacco-free discount program, or the FFS program, sorry. And we were quick to realize that this was something that we needed to do. So what the benefits team had determined was that we were going to, starting with our 2016 open enrollment, we were going to have a tobacco-free discount. So for those employees that were tobacco-free, they would be eligible for a discount on their medical premiums for the 2016 open enrollment year. And as maybe some of you know or maybe you don't know, when you do opt to do the tobacco rates or the non-tobacco rates, you have to actually come up with a program. It's called a reasonable alternative standard for those who are smokers or tobacco users, a program for them to go through to become eligible for the discount on those medical premiums. So even though they are smokers, you have to offer them an opportunity or a program to help them to become eligible for the discount. So I worked with Carrie Schneider here in the Milwaukee area. She did an awesome job. We did a couple of webinars, live webinars that we had employees get on, recorded those, and rolled it out. We've been very successful with our program. We've had between 50 to 65 completion rate each year. As you know, or maybe you don't know, it does take on average, the average person, it takes at least between 7 and 10 times to quit. So it's really important to offer a program to your employees at a time that's going to meet when they're ready, when they're going to be ready to make that commitment, make that change in their life, and then once they decide to make an attempt, it's great that the program is there, and it really helps them get through this. And, you know, we just keep encouraging them. If it's the first time you don't succeed, just keep trying. So as I shared, we rolled this out in 2015. And in last year, 2017 was the first year that we rolled it out for spouses too. So since 2015, it's been free to our employees to do the program. And then last year is when we opened it up to spouses or significant others. And they were eligible to take advantage of the program as well for free. We continually monitor the program. We continually seek feedback. We want to gauge how people felt about the program and what resonated with them and if they felt it was beneficial. And I'm happy to report that the large majority of the testimonials that we get, either when we solicit for feedback or they'll just randomly email, is very positive. A lot of great stories, people that have used tobacco nicotine products for 35 years or more, finally able to quit. I think the big thing that resonates with me in all of the stories that were shared is that the people that they're talking to through the telephonic coaching are people that have quit themselves. So it's them sharing different ways that worked for them. And some of them that I thought were kind of interesting and wanted to share were frozen grapes. Anytime somebody was craving a cigarette, they were told to keep some frozen grapes nearby and use those. The other ones I thought were unique were chapsticks. So anytime this person would get the urge, she was told to apply chapstick, and so that's kind of what her thing was that got her through. One other lady said chewing on a coffee stir. Just it's the fact of having something in your hand and giving your hand something other to do than grab for that cigarette. I'm also excited. We just rolled out the Freedom from Smoking Plus program actually this morning. We just started our campaign on the new FFS Plus program. And this program we're going to be doing year-round now. It used to be that we provided the Freedom from Smoking program in June through November 1st of our annually, starting in 2015. And now we've decided to keep it open year-round because, as I shared, you don't necessarily know when that employee is going to be ready, and you want that program to be available for them at any time. So as of we set the information out at 9 o'clock this morning, and so far I've got 17 people I can see on the admin screen that have actually logged in and enrolled in the program. So I'm excited to watch that grow, and I'm excited to watch the progress that we made. And ironically, just by sending out that communication, we got one more testimonial today. And they just wanted to share that 2.5 years ago they started the program that we offered, and he was a smoker for 40 years, and he quit. So he was very appreciative and said the program, if it wasn't for the program, he wouldn't have quit. So if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to email you back, or you can reach me directly. You can reach me at 608-229-1025. Or you can email me at wellness@fairwaymc.com, and I'd be happy to answer any employer questions that you had.
Thank you, Nancy. We really appreciate that. And next, we have Jill Miklow, who is, again, one of our insurance brokers that we've worked with, who has companies throughout the U.S., and we'll turn it over to you, Jill.
Thank you, Lori. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me today. So like Lori mentioned, my name is Jill. I am the Wellness Manager at Assurance, and really mine and my team's role is exclusively working with our employer groups, our clients, and helping them establish, if they don't have one, a wellness and well-being program, or help kind of take their program to the next level. So in our role across the board, kind of finding a reliable solution that can fit all of the market segments that we work in, all of the industries that we work in, finding a solution that can meet our that wide spectrum is not the easiest task, and that goes to all wellness programs, but definitely includes tobacco cessation. So the Quitline for us has actually been a really wonderful resource when it comes to recommending tobacco cessation programs for our employer groups. I know a lot of employers are looking, from the ones that we work with and have experience with, they're definitely looking for a cost-effective program, but something that's going to be impactful. You know, they're not looking to roll a program out just to roll a program out. They want something that's going to be, you know, budget-friendly, but it's also going to actually show some results and some return. They want something that's going to help employees actually put them in the best position to quit tobacco products. And as, you know, a few people have already mentioned before, we have a lot of employer groups that are leveraging tobacco cessation programs as that reasonable alternative standard. So the Quitline, in my opinion, kind of, and I think Shambria mentioned this early on, kind of takes it goes beyond the basic requirements that are needed and necessary through the Affordable Care Act. So if you are using a reasonable alternative standard, I think the Quitline is a fabulous resource for that, just to take it to, you know, something that's actually going to be effective and is going to impact and create change. The couple of, I think, key things on our end that we appreciate, and I know certainly our clients appreciate, is that this solution is truly turnkey. It's, you know, really allows the employer to be hands-off, which I think in today's idea of any kind of program, the more hands-off, the better. We want to be able to, you know, obviously pass the information along to employees, but then let those professionals really work with those individuals on a very personal basis to help them quit their tobacco products. And I think from our standpoint, we know that when we recommend the service, we know that the service is going to be consistent, we know it's going to be quality, and we know it's going to be reliable, not to mention effective. So I know they mentioned the quit rates at about 45%. That's definitely rings true with what we've seen in terms of the reporting on our employer groups as well. We've experienced quit rates on some of our groups that, you know, is above 50%. So that in itself, I think, is well worth the investment to the employer. A couple other quick things I did want to mention. I do think that the Quitline also, I know that Shambria went through the benefits form, so I really appreciate the fact that the Quitline does take the time to get to know the employer, to really understand all of their wellness offerings and other resources that may be available to employees. So there's consistent messaging coming not only from internal human resources, but also from these external programs like the Tobacco Quitline. And they absolutely do provide that information to the coaches. So when employees call in, those coaches are equipped with the necessary information to communicate to participants that call into the program. So things like incentive details, timeline for incentive details, any deadlines that the client has established, the quit coaches do a good job communicating that. Any nicotine replacement therapy coverage they have already available to them through the benefit plan is something that the quit coaches can help communicate, and really any other benefit details that the client feels is important to make sure that the coaches are made aware of. And I'll say the feedback from our clients and the participants that we've had a chance to speak with has been super great. Easy to implement, I think, is the biggest kind of resounding feedback that we get from our clients and the administrators at each of the employer groups. And again, the fact that it's very hands-off. Aside from pushing, communicating, promoting it, it's very, pass the ball over to the Quitline, and they, run with it from there. And I will kind of echo some of the feedback already, especially some of the feedback that Nancy shared. What we hear from employees, I think more frequently than anything else, is just regarding the counselors and the coaches that they're speaking to. I've heard time and time again that the coaches are very relatable. Some of them are, as everyone's mentioned, former smokers themselves, so they can just give some very realistic tips, ideas, really to help that person with their own goals. And the other thing that I've heard too is participants do have the opportunity to speak with different counselors throughout that 8-week time frame, so they can get different perspectives, different ideas on different quit methods or different ways to curb cravings. And the outreach calls, so as Matthew mentioned, after the initial call, there are scheduled weekly outreach phone calls placed to the participants. That, I think, is a key differentiator for sure that kind of sets the Quitline apart from other tobacco cessation resources. I know that our participants really appreciate that outreach call just to keep them accountable. So in all, we've utilized the Tobacco Quitline countless times, and we definitely have them on our radar to continue promoting to our clients, and it's been a really great partnership for us.
Thank you, Jill. We appreciate it. Once again, we'll have an opportunity here. I'm going to turn it back over to Matthew, and then we'll take questions.
Thank you, Lori. I'm just going to summarize it very briefly. The Illinois Tobacco Quitline Corporate Worksite Program is available to support your employees through the tobacco quitting process. We offer very personalized and individual plans tailored to each employee. We will help lower the healthcare costs and lost productivity associated with tobacco use. Our corporate worksite program is modeled from the gold standard program developed by the American Lung Association. Our outreach team is ready to assist you, your employees, or the clients that you serve. Please call us or email us to get started right now. And with that, we'll open it up for some questions.
All right. So again, thank you so much to our team here. And now is the opportunity where you can ask questions. You can fill in, and we'll do our best to address those. If we can't get to all of them, we will make sure to email a Q&A wrap-up to everyone who has participated as well. Please know your Illinois Tobacco Quitline, which is funded through the Illinois Department of Public Health, is here to help you in every way. We want to make it a smooth and easy process. So do we have any questions? All right, so I have,
we have one question.
Can we break down the cost once more? So, Matthew, if you'd like to review the cost once more with everyone.
Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and back up to that slide just to make it a little bit easier, if that's okay. Give me a second here. Got to scroll. All right, so the counseling service itself is going to be $150 per person. What that does include is everything that you've heard so far with the calling. It's the 8 consecutive proactive calls, the 7-month follow-up of the completion certificate, the reports on our behalf to you on member usage, the utilization reports, or I'll wrap all that up. There is no limit to the number of calls. We want to be very clear on that. So if I talk to a person last Thursday, and then they call again today, they call again tomorrow because they're having problems or having issues, that is wonderful. We actually encourage that very, very much. Even after the 8 calls, they can continue to call us so that they can continue to get the support. It doesn't just cut off at the 8 calls. We will continue that support as long as we can, as long as they need. And again, this is a tailored program for every caller. An additional fee will be the nicotine replacement therapy, which does include the patches, the gum, the lozenges, or a combination of those therapies. Some people require multiple approaches at one time to try to get them the most relief possible, and these are enhanced options. These are above and beyond the $150 per person fees, but these are at a significantly reduced rate compared to going out and buying it over the counter.
Thank you, Matthew. Janine, hopefully that has answered your questions. Do we have any other questions? And please know, if you don't think of a question here, our team will be doing outreach. We have your emails, and we will be sending you our packet of information and following up. So if you have anything else, please know that we'll do that for you. We'll just hold for another moment here as we're waiting to see if there's any additional questions. On behalf of the Illinois Tobacco Quitline and the Illinois Department of Public Health, we thank each of you for your time today. We'd like to recognize our speakers. We really appreciate your time and wish you all the best as you determine really good options for your employees as they all look to have that journey of becoming tobacco-free. Thank you, everyone.